whatever you want to call it from wherever you're from, it's pork. We're gonna basically just make that up. When we come back, we're gonna add a little water. We're probably gonna put pot. It's a great cast iron pot, but you never know. You gotta stay on top of it. Pot's been loving on itself a little while. Monday night tea cook. Hey everybody, welcome back. We finally got a nice cool evening here in South Louisiana. Got home from work, grabbed me a local beer, a Vita. It's one of my favorites, made right around the corner about a mile away from here. Look, tonight we're making a pork stew. Very similar to a beef stew, but guess what? It's got pork roast in it. Pork shoulder, pork butt, whatever you want to call it from wherever you're from, it's pork. We're gonna basically just make that up kind of like a beef stew. Then we got potatoes, onion, garlic. We're gonna put some mushrooms in it, carrots, green beans, and a whole lot of love here from these seasonings. So the first step is really just to take this pork and get it browned up. So we're gonna put it in this beautiful cast iron pot that I already got nice and warm for us. Listen to that, already start to cook. All right. Let's put a little seasoning on it. Go to Tony's. You could slap your mama. You could do all kinds of Cajun seasonings. It's probably, I go a little heavy on the pork because I like to get that pork where all the flavors in it, where you take that bite. It's probably about a tablespoon total. So we're gonna start there. We're gonna brown it up. It's probably gonna go about 15 minutes or so until it gets nice and brown in there. And then we might need to add a little bit of water and just let it smother down one more time. And then we'll be back and we'll put all the vegetables in. Let's check on that smothering down pork right there. Y'all saw that stir earlier. Oh, it's getting there. Look at the color. All right, so right about this time, I like to add the onions and the garlic. So let's do that real quick. We go in chunks. I like chunks. I don't know what the technical kitchen term is for it. I call them chunks. Look at them knife skills. Straight out of South Louisiana. Nothing fancy here. Never went to culinary school. Making some chunky onions. So that's one whole, probably medium onion. And then look, we're gonna take the garlic. And all I do with the garlic is just do little slices. We can see that right there, because that's gonna get in that meat. And it's essentially just gonna turn into mush once it gets in that pot. It's gonna build on that flavor profile. How's that meat looking? I bet it is almost ready to see some onions and some garlic. We're gonna keep the lid off for probably about 5 minutes or so, because we don't want that pork sticking to the bottom of that pot. We put a spoon on it real quick. We're gonna turn the heat down. Let that garlic, onion, and pork get married up in there. When we come back, we're gonna add a little water and some beef base and start getting this stew going before we add all the rest of the vegetables. All right. While them onions and garlic are getting along with that pork in there, let's get some of these ingredients that are going in that stew together. Again, we're gonna chop up some potatoes. Look, thing with this is if you're making a stew, you want them all about the same size. That's the most important part. all essentially about the same size. And then depending on how your family likes carrots, we're probably gonna put, let's see, 1, 2, 3. Gonna leave this little baby in the bag. Carrots. Cut the ends off. Ooh, Bear's gonna like carrots. Chunks again. Some of them outstanding knife skills. That's probably about perfect. And then the only other thing I'm gonna do is take these green beans, because I like to cut them in half. Maybe a little bit more. And looking at the color of that bowl, I think I'm gonna need one more carrot. If you remember my last show, I do a lot of stuff just off of the way my eyes like to see the food. And then what we'll do is we'll put some mushrooms in once we get all that in there and see how it looks. All right, we're back. That pork's been smothering down. I do need to tell you, I put probably a 1/4 cup of water in that a couple times now, just to make sure that that meat doesn't stick to the bottom of that pot. It's a great cast iron pot, but you never know. You gotta stay on top of it. So look, here's all we're gonna do. Cheat code, I normally don't cheat, but on a Monday night when everybody's wanting to eat a little bit of beef base, you can make your own stock really, really quick. I got probably right at a tablespoon. We're gonna put it in there. We're gonna let that get incorporated. A couple little stirs, make sure, because what we don't wanna do is when we go to serve this, somebody takes a bite. Beef base. I wish y'all could smell it. All right, now we're gonna add some vegetables. I like to do this before I add my water. So all those vegetables we had, and we're gonna add salt. And look, this is just your first pass. Remember what I told you before. You can't take the salt and the pepper out. Once you put it in there, it's in there. So we're gonna make that a first pass. We're gonna introduce all these vegetables to that pork, that onion, and just like I told you, I can't see a piece of that garlic left. It had already melted on down to that. All right, last thing we're gonna do, I got a quart of water here. This should be just enough to cover it up. And this is my first pass, all right? I'm probably gonna end up going with about another 1/2 quart to a full quart more, but I want to let all of that get up to a boil first. Make sure you don't have nothing stuck to the bottom of that pot, because that ain't no good. All right, now we're gonna put a lid back on that, and we're probably gonna be back, I'm telling you, for that. I got a pretty strong fire going. Maybe 15 or 20 minutes. See you back. All right. I've added about 1/2 quart. I said 1/2 quart to a full quart before we left. I went about 1/2 quart because I wanted to keep plenty of liquid in there. The potatoes are perfect. So here's what we're going to do. Because everything in that pot's been loving on itself a little while. Monday night cheat code, middle of the week. I don't quite like the color of that Kitchen Bouquet. What we got there? 2 teaspoons. 2 teaspoons sounds about right. I use this. Look at that magic right there. Look. A light brown gravy to a medium brown gravy. Let's put some of these mushrooms in. That's the last little thing. So we got about 15 minutes left on this pot. Everybody wants a little mushrooms. I asked the folks that were around tonight. So we're gonna get those in. And then before we got back on camera, I grabbed 2 ladlefuls of that juice. And we're gonna add 1.5 teaspoons of cornstarch. Real important here. Make sure you stir it. No lumps, no nothing. Because once you put that lump in that pot, you're not gonna get it out. Kind of like that beef base. You don't want nobody putting that in their mouth. You don't want that to be their bite. They're not gonna come back to eat meat acres if that's how you treat them. All right, so we got it all in there. Look at them cheat codes right there. A little thickening, a little color. It's a Monday night. You're just trying to make something for people to put in their mouth. All right, we're gonna go 10 minutes. It's gonna be done, and when you come back, I'm gonna plate it. All right, y'all. Mushrooms been down for 5 minutes. Let's crack the last abita for the night. Let's see what we got here. Everything's been loving on itself. Off camera, I took and I made a little bowl for one of my official taste testers. There's only 2 that have the buttons. I didn't have to add anything. And y'all saw me make that. I measured some stuff. The rest of it's just like, yeah, that's about right. All right, so let's see how it looks. Look at the vegetables right there. Look at that meat. In a nacho boat, I will tell you, at this house, you can just put anything in a nacho boat. What you really want on that cool night is that juice. Look at that pretty color. 3 cheat codes tonight. It's not even fair that I shared that many with y'all. But look at how that looks. Beautiful stew. At night, middle of the week, beer, feed the family for the rest of the week. I hope y'all enjoy the recipe. It's going to be in the description. Let me know how you like it. Give me some feedback, and I'll see y'all next time.
Along the banks of the Hayden Mead River, there's a man they call this Cajun Chef Ramsay. From Baton Rouge to the north, Gonzales to the south,